And good morning. Welcome back to another edition of the early morning Sunday show. The show where even I have no idea what the heck I'm going to say. All right, let's just first talk. I know what you're asking. Steve, where did you get that cool shirt? I know, kind of notice it, don't you? I mean, it's a pretty exciting thing here. I designed this. This is my, it's my personal design for the Beatles' 50th anniversary of the White Album. And I thought, you know what, this is really momentous, so I decided to take their iconic, album cover and design a shirt based upon the coloring of that and the album cover. And so this is what I came up with. And it looks really cool, and it is for sale for $30. You can buy this. And I know some of you are going, it's really hot where I live, and so that's, it just looks too warm. So I also came up with, I designed a tank top. And on the tank top, I made a ribbed pattern on here too. I think it kind of adds a little pizzazz to it. And for those of you that don't want a Beatles White Album V-neck, I did design a crew neck. And if you check out Vinyl Richie's last video, he did a countdown of favorite albums from 1982, and he just did that this week, a couple of days ago. He's wearing one of my designed crew neck White Album t-shirts, and check that out. It's a great video too. He shows some really good stuff on there. Every time I watch that, I go, man, I wish I had that thing. Wow. But there you go. You can see all that. So, for $30, you can have this limited edition White Album t-shirt. I'll ship it to you. Now, don't be surprised. The packaging will probably come out looking like this. I had a bunch of these Hanes packages, so that's just what I'm putting them in. Don't be fooled by that, or if it says Fruit of the Loom, it has nothing to do with that. So, there you have it. Beatles White Album Tribute t-shirts available for sale, $30. Just let me know. Give me a comment, give me your address. I'll take care of you. Don't you worry about a thing. So, but we're going to flip on another cool shirt here, and we'll get going today, all right? I got a free t-shirt this week. Well, I say free, but yeah, you spend a lot of money. They go, hey, get a free t-shirt. All right, fantastic. All right, here we go. Harvest Records. Isn't that neat? There we go. Harvest Records. This is in Asheville, North Carolina. I've been traveling the last couple weeks. I've been in Maine, been down in North Carolina, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia. Yeah, I've been around. But when we were in North Carolina, I was with my wife down there. We were on vacation, went down to see the Biltmore Estates. It was her Christmas present, and we stayed down there. And I asked Dylan from Noble Records. He's running that contest right now. Check it out. Pretty cool contest. Make sure you enter. But I said, where's a place? Because I know he's from down that area in Asheville to go. And he says, go to Harvest Records. So I did. And look, I got a t-shirt, Harvest Records. So I'm going to show you, we're going to do the finger thing again. All right, there's Harvest Records, okay? This is in Asheville, North Carolina. There's the finger. And that's a gas station that's across the street that I like because it's Art Deco. So I went the wrong way. All right, there's the staff at Harvest Records. Nice people. I'm going to show you, there's a specific picture I want to show you on this, though. There it is. Look at that. Radio City from Big Star. My God. You see that? All right. So let's talk about that a minute. I couldn't believe it. I'm looking up there at Radio City. Oh, my goodness. Had it come down. I touched it. I caressed it. I felt it. I gave it the love. I go, it's like, wow. And look at the price. $250. My wife's with me. So, hey, honey, I know all this vacation costs some stuff, but I just bought a record album for $250. A-okay, thumbs up. Actually, she probably would let me, but I couldn't pull the trigger. But there it was, Radio City Big Star. I have the original Big Star, #1 record, but I'm going to be thinking about that one. But while I was there, actually, I was looking at the wall. And actually, when I was going to check out, I had a stack of some records, and then on the wall I suddenly saw this box set. It's Miles Davis On the Corner, the complete sessions. Comes with an incredible book. Now, they had, Columbia House had been reissuing a ton of these back in the late 90s and the early aughts. And that's when they had Columbia Club Record House. And I bought almost every single one of them. But I did not get On the Corner. And it's 7 CDs. I mean, it's the complete sessions. Everything's here. Outtakes, all of it. Even the inside has kind of cool on there. And there it was behind there. This has been on my wish list. So, you know, we talk grails. I always have a hard time. Do I have a grail or not? This has been on my wish list forever. And it was sitting back behind there. And what can I do? So, I put back almost all the records I had, except for one. It was a nice upgrade of Miles Davis. There it is. It had Water Babies, and this was a beautiful upgrade to the one that I had. So I took that, I purchased that one. I bought this grail. So excited to have this thing. Been listening to this thing a lot. On the Corner. So there we go. Miles Davis. God bless it. Okay. And then, because I was such a great customer, they gave me a free t-shirt. Pretty neat. All right. I was going to buy one. Actually, I said, I'd like to buy one of those. He goes, no. Hey, we give a free after you spend over $100, you get a free shirt. Oh, yay. Okay. So it was a great place. Fantastic store. Asheville, North Carolina, Harvest Records. Half Price Bookstore had a sale going on, and usually I miss those unless I'm out traveling for work because I have no Half Price bookstores by me, but I picked this up. This is the box set, the Mercury Records Rhythm and Blues History from 1945 to 1955. It's a 8 CD box set. It really goes into the history of the recording artists of Mercury Records in that 10-year period from World War II up to kind of the birth of rock and roll. Beautiful book, really nice. And so what they break it down to is there's 2 CDs on East Coast Blues, Southwest Blues, Midwest Blues. Hey, we're missing one part of the country, right? West Coast Blues. You know, I was looking at some record albums, but I love a box set because this thing has so much history. It talks about the history. It helps me understand music better, and it gets me into a lot of other things. Yes, it winds up costing me more money as I find new artists that I don't know about. So, but there it was, excited to find that. And just a couple books I picked up. And Doug from Fat City Records, he is my reggae guru. But Doug, I found this. It is reggae and Caribbean music. It goes through all the reggae Caribbean music out there. It gives you, it talks about each one, kind of rates each album, talks about the artist. Doug, I no longer have to keep bothering you about reggae. I now have this. I'll still bother you, but this was a great book. I have been loving this thing. And the other thing I bought is, it just came out, well, I just found it there for the first time. Is that All There Is? And it's the biography of Peggy Lee. And that was a woman, you know, she did Fever, but she had one crazy life. So got that to read. We'll put that in the collection. So there we go. I've just taken up 10 minutes. My God, I haven't showed you anything. I apologize. So here we go. So I went also to Strange, Maine this week. This was a record store up in Portland, Maine, and we're going to get into that. And there's Harvest Records. Okay, so let's start off. When I was up in Maine, I asked the guy at this record store at Strange, Maine, who I did not get a free t-shirt from, give me a couple Maine artists I'd like to buy. And so he goes, well, here's a couple I'm listening to. So here was one of them, and it's called Forte Indorme, I guess. And the name of the album is Itale dans les Chivides. Folks, it's French. I don't speak French. English translation on this thing is Sketches in the Empty Sky. This is like chamber music, but the guy that made it was Jordan Gouriet, French sounding name, and he is he plays black metal. He's a black metal guitarist, and so he made this music for chamber. It's lyrical, but it has this real dark undertone to it. You can really feel it on there, and so it has a very classical feel, but yet kind of creepy, in all honesty. But it was interesting. You know, I have no complaints about it. I listened to it, and I kind of liked it. A little shade in there. So this was a recommendation. The guy there at the record store also recommended this one. It's from see that? I don't know. I guess in Maine they got weird names. The album's called Red Moon, and this is what she looks like. And her name's actually Claire Hubbard. She came out of Indiana, but she now lives in Portland, Maine. And how best to describe this? This is like psychedelic folk songs. Yeah, I said, you know, give me something. I don't know, this guy, whatever he's been, what he likes to listen to, I mean, he listens to some scary crap. This thing was like, whoa. It's like, okay, let's describe it. It's like if Neil Young and Patti Smith got together, took acid, and they went to a ghost town to play. There we go. Folktronica. So it's like folk electronic. It was some weird stuff. I don't know. I don't know about that one, but all right, let's move on here. I bought this one. Actually, Headleaf, another fat bearded man, spinning records. Headley is his name. Check out his channel. It's one of my favorites out there. On Vinyl Community Facebook, he talked about this and recommended it. And on his last video, he had a video this weekend. He really talked about this. Is Ringo Starr's second album on there, and it's Buku of Blues. And it is a pure country album. Ringo doing country. You know, in the Beatles, it's on Apple. You know, you can hear some of Ringo's song on the Beatles kind of country. Well, here he went full-blown into it. So Headley really goes into big time on this, about how it was made, how it was produced and everything. And I really, you know, check out that channel. You know, another fat bearded man spinning records. He's out of England. He's great. And he talked about it, but it is a very good album. You know, after he did this has been sitting in my record store for a long time here in Midland, Michigan. So I just went down there and go, Jim, I want that album. And there we go, I got it. Okay, this was, folks, I have a lot, you know, I haven't been around for a few weeks, as I said, so I got a lot of albums I'm really behind on. But here was one when I was at that West Virginia. I talked about it a couple weeks, so I picked up Brian Eno's Talking Tiger Mountain. This is another one I have been looking for in the wild to get an original pressing of. I've seen the reissues of it. This is, you know, a phenomenal album. It really blew me away. I totally loved it. It's very lyrical. It's very easy. I mean, this is Brian Eno, and this is super easy to listen to. So it has this upbeat kind of sound to it, but yet the lyrics are really dark. He talks a lot about the communist revolution uprising. And, you know, one song on here, let's see. The Great Pretender. I believe The Great Pretender is about a houseboy being raped by a machine. And then there's one about a gal in an insane asylum. I mean, the lyrics are dark. The title, Taking Tiger Mountain. Eno had these postcards of the Chinese, it was a Chinese Revolution opera called Taking Tiger Mountain, and he really liked that. So that's what he based this on. I mean, one song's about an airplane crash that killed hundreds of people. So the music itself has this nice kind of uplifting feel. But the lyrics, which I don't really hear very well anyway, are really, really dark. This started his Oblique Strategies cards. Those are special cards he developed with, actually Peter Schmidt was the man that developed them. Eno heard about it, they got together and they came up with these. So if you're having a creative block, what do I do? How do I write? He would pull out these cards and they would say stuff like fake it or joyful glee, just weird phrases, and then you would try to write. So the music would jump all over the place based upon the cards, supposed to help them out. So super excited to find this on Island Records there. Yeah, great. 1974 is when that came out. That's his second album, his second solo album. Really great. And my apologies, someone on Vinyl Community talked about this, the Murder City Devils, because I went onto Amazon, put it into my wish list, and I just picked this thing up. This is a punk rock band. They were formed in 1996 up in Seattle. This is the first album in 1997. Man, they got on vinyl quick. They're still out there making music. This is like great 70s old school punk. Holy moly. It takes off like hell on wheels and just keeps going. It rocks. Absolutely. I love this album. One of my favorite songs called Boom Swagger Boom. Boom, boom, swagger, swagger, boom, 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 boom. I understand that lyric. I can hear that lyric, so I can sing to it. You know, dance hall music, it's in my heart. This is just pure adrenaline going on this thing. The Murder City Devils. If those of you that like kind of punkish music, check this out. You can go on to YouTube, go on to Amazon to listen to samples of it. Blew me away. Absolutely loved it. And there is a label on there too, I believe. And the label, it's from Sub Pop, though it really doesn't say it on there, but it is Sub Pop. All right. Dwight Yoakam. Absolutely love Dwight Yoakam. Dwight Yoakam, you know, he was born in Kentucky, raised in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Actually went to school at the University of Ohio, didn't do well, went to Nashville to, you know, I want to become a musician. Didn't pan out in Nashville, so he went to California. He was there in the early 80s. He began to hang out and play with the Blasters, with X, with Los Lobos. Obviously, this began to influence his style. Well, you know, he's known, you know, he has that Bakersfield, his music has the Bakersfield style to it, which was made by Buck Owens. Well, by the 80s, Buck Owens was struggling. No one was listening to his stuff. He kind of retired. And someone went up to him and says, listen, there's this guy out there that has your sound, and he really idolizes you. His name's Dwight Yoakam. So Buck went over and met them, and they did a record together, and Streets of Bakersfield. They played that thing together. It's a wonderful sound. Well, this is Dwight Yoakam's second album, Hillbilly Deluxe. I like Dwight Yoakam. I bet I probably have 15 of his CDs. He's put out over 20 CDs. He's 31 singles. He's sold 25 million record albums. One of my favorite country singers. When he got going, he says, I want to make hillbilly rock music, hillbilly country music is what he called it. And, you know, again, born in Kentucky, and he is in the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame. Little information that I actually do know. So, Dwight Yoakam, I rarely find him on vinyl, but if I do, I pick him up because I truly enjoy this man, his music. You know, I think there was a movie out there in the 90s called Sling Blade. It was, Billy Bob Thornton did it. And he was a guy who was got out of a mental institution. He's in this town. Well, Dwight Yoakam was in the movie as an abusive boyfriend that Billy Bob hit him in the head with a big mower blade. So took care of him. All right, next, I want to call out Jacob from Moen Rocks. I call him out quite a bit because he really has helped expand a lot of my music because he's looking at different things. So this one's Marconi Notaro. This is Brazilian psychedelic folk rock from the 70s. There's some extras in here. We'll just kind of show it to you. Very interesting music. Really enjoyed this. It's just there. I saw it. I found this in Maine. I had to go all the way to Maine to find Brazilian folk rock, psychedelic folk rock. There's the label. So Marconi Notorio was a poet, and a lot of his books, you know, I think he has 7 books of poetry or whatever in Brazil, and a lot of it was being banned by the government because they didn't like what he was writing. Well, he also made one album, and this was from 1973. He put this out. Well, Marconi was also a drunkard. I mean, he was drunk a lot, and he knew it. And you know, and when he passed away, he had still a bunch of books of poetry, poems that weren't published, and records weren't published. But this was the one album he published, and there's social commentary in here, but it's all in Portuguese. So, like, I would really know what the social commentary was. Really neat. If you like that, you know, if you like, you know, psychedelic sounds, you know, psychedelic type albums, this will have it. Psychedelic folk from Marconi Notorio. It did come with, there's a picture of the man, and there's in his older age, so a little book, talks a little bit about the album. But then I had this in there. I pulled this out. Steve loves a poster. But I don't think this was supposed to be in there. I don't know, it's psychedelic. It's a Dylan poster. What's a Dylan poster doing in a Marconi Notorio? Don't know. Got it. My poster. That's good. Alright, couple last albums. Toots and the Maytals. A little reggae. And again, my shout out to my buddy Doug. Mango Records. So Toots came to Jamaica in 1958, and he was called the Singing Barber. He got a job in a barber shop, loved to sing, so he was called the Singing Barber. And he was trying to make it in music, and things just weren't going. So in about 62, 63, he hooked up with some other guys. Oh gosh darn, Jimmy. Doug, you'll be able to correct me, obviously. Jerry, Matthias, and Raleigh Gordon, I believe, were their names. And they formed together. They called themselves the Maytals. And they began recording, and they were getting some success. Well, then came out the soundtrack. They had a song on The Harder They Come, you know, that 70s blaxploitation movie. And they took off, and they became really, really popular, especially in England. This is their 1979 album, and it's called Pass the Pipe. You know, everything had a kind of sound about marijuana in that. It was really kind of marketing to help sell the records. Doug gave me that information, by the way. And wonderful. This has some jazz and soul to it. It was just a fantastic, phenomenal album. You know, it was a blind buy. I don't know what Maytal, Toots and the Maytal album to buy. I just saw it there. I thought, I'm gonna give it a shot. I like the 70s reggae, and this had some great music. These guys coined the word reggae in 1968. That was their idea. They also really created the reggae sound in the 60s. They were listening to dancehall and ska, brought it together, and made what we call reggae. So one of the pioneers of that genre. So really nice, Toots and the Maytal. Final one, Chet Baker. Chet Baker and Crew. This was made in 1956. I own zero Chet Baker. Everyone talks about Chet Baker. I know who Chet Baker was, but I know him as a very drug-addicted person who had many problems and really dropped out of the music business in the 60s and into the early 70s. But, you know, finally he came back out. I mean, he lost all his teeth. He got them punched out in a drug deal. How do you play a trumpet with no teeth? Figured it out, because in the 70s and 80s he made a ton of music. I mean, there's a bunch out there, but then he passed away, I believe, in 88. But this is from 1956. Wonderful album. I totally enjoyed it. I mean, how would I, cool and relaxed. It's very cool and relaxed bebop. I just kind of sit back and chill and listen to this thing. So Chet Baker and Crew. Great find. I got this off Amazon. It's one of those Amazon ones, like $12 or something. So it's a nice way, inexpensive way to try out and listen to a little Chet Baker. It's on wax time. There we go, has an X. So wonderful. I'm home for about 10 days. I got piles of music to listen to that I've been buying. So Black Friday, record store day, you know I'm going to find something there. So I'm excited about that. But that's what I got this week. Great to be back home finally, you know, not out, having to eat out every night and that. So thank you for joining. There's been a lot of new subscribers, and really I appreciate you guys subscribing, because if you didn't subscribe, I'd just be talking to myself. I do that a lot anyway, but what fun really is it? It's more fun to talk to other people about music. So thanks for coming in. Looking forward to seeing you next week on our next Early Morning Sunday show. Appreciate everybody. Thank you.